That's why I said tracking is very important here. Because this will be an indication of how well you can cope with the increasing number. In your earlier briefing, you said that you could handle it in 48 hours. But then, it is increasing at now you're handling 400 cases per day. Now, if this goes up to 800 cases per day, which is conceivable, it may take you maybe 72 hours. In other words, your response time is going to become longer and longer until it is abated. So that will stress your capability. And the response time is going to be very important because if it will take you, let's say, 4 days, instead of only 2 days, 48 hours, baka by that time, yung sakit ng tao medyo mas grabe na because the longer it is, the worse the situation will become for that person. Tama ba yun?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Just like dengue. Dengue, you reach a point where the disease becomes irreversible. So dito, Mr. Chairman, makikita niyo yung slope dito, no? Pataas ang pataas. And if we, it started, the first incident was May 20. May 20. It's only a month from there. Now we are at 444. For a while, akala mo hindi lumalaki. But all of a sudden, it rose. And there's a book, Tipping Point. This is a classic book by Gladwell, talking of how epidemics rise. At first, an epidemic is almost imperceptible. And people might, who are not trained in statistics, might take it for granted. But then all of a sudden, it shoots up just like this. At first, akala mo parang wala. Then all of a sudden, in just a matter of, look at how it went up. From May 20 to about June 14, dito lang. But in a matter of 6 days, it went up more than 4 times. In a matter of from May 20, about a month, halos walang movement, maliit lang, about 100 cases. Then it went up to 444 in just 6 days' time. That is the characteristic of an epidemic, tipping point. Kaya importante makita itong trending nyo. For example, Mr. Chairman, this is from WHO. In the case of Mexico, from 506 cases, we are almost at 506 cases right now. On May 3, it went up in just 5 days to more than 1,000 cases. In the case of the United States, from 403 on May 5, it went up to 1,600 cases in 4 days. In other words, what we are seeing here, if the trend continues, is that by the end of this week, we might hit 1,000. The question now, can we handle that? How many hours would it take now for the RITM to analyze each case? Will it be still 48 hours or already 72 hours? If it is 72 hours or longer, what will be the repercussion of that on the health of the individual patient in case that person is found to be really afflicted with the virus? Now, what about your organization? Can you handle it? If we reach, in the case of Mexico, Mr. Chairman, or in the case of the United States, from a level of 1,000, it took only about 10 days to reach 5,000. So we are now June 20, 10 plus 16, we might be hitting 5,000 before the middle of next month. Of course, some people will say, well, this is not the United States, this is not Mexico, but there are other factors which may indicate that our growth rate may be higher because we are more social than the Americans. In other words, the interpersonal relationship is more frequent here in the Philippines than in the United States. We are probably more like the Mexicans culturally. In other words, the interpersonal is closer. In the case of Mexico, our population is a little lower than Mexico, but still, we're almost there. So, dapat meron kayong projection because kung umabot tayo ng 5,000, for example, kaya niyo ba? And do you think we will reach 5,000?
Yes, sir, we will. Kung inanong po natin ang trending kasi ng influenza virus, talaga pong tataas yan. Yan po pinakita yung sir na nag-project po siyang ilang days po talagang nagtaas. This is part of the pandemic curve na inaasahan natin mangyayari po talagang tataas. And now to search sa time na nagkaramihan sa atin nag-develop na ng natural immunity against influenza ni H1N1, na doon naman po bababa yung slope nitong pandemic influenza. What we need to consider right now is not really yung pagtaas ng bilang ng kaso, kundi yung pagpigil po dun sa posibilidad na ma-expose po ngayon o mabantayan po natin yung mga high-risk group, yung mga vulnerable group. Kasi kung sinabi niyo po, sir, na say like 5,000 cases, the graph, correct me if I'm wrong, is actually a cumulative number of cases that we're seeing. Although hindi nagdala kasi hindi namin alam yung ganito po, sir, na we actually have a weekly morbidity rate ng cases.
Pero when it may be cumulative, it shows you that every day, the accumulation is higher. Because dito, maliit lang, halos hindi gumagalaw eh. Up to here, only 100. But in a matter of a few days, it went up to 400. In other words, the daily accumulation is getting higher. Is that not correct?
Okay, go ahead. Excuse me po. Can I contact that? Okay. I hope the mic can hear me. So, what is presented before you is that this is the rise throughout the days. In coordination with WHO, we track the number of cases by the date of onset of the disease. Example, what we have right now is that there are 444 cases, each of which has its own date of onset, kung kailan po nagkasakit. So, ilalagay ko yun, halimbawa, nagkasakit si, ako na lang po, Kuya Jojo, dito po ng May 20, ay May...
How come you talk like Secretary Duque?
Salamat po, salamat po. Opo, nagkasakit ako ng 30 of May, bilang po ako doon. Tapos po,